Hi. In today's video, we're going to change gears a little bit. And if you're reading in the newspapers and you know that there's the COVID-19 virus going around and people are looking at what they can do to stop spreading this or to help healthcare providers or even help your neighbor next door. I work with a bunch of smart people that design machinery and everything. And what we did is we took it on ourselves as a project to develop some face shield visors that your neighbor could use going to the grocery store, or you could provide it to people that are exposed to a lot of people or whatever to help them out in this time of need. We looked at a lot of the designs that were out into the makerspace or whatever, and they were good, but we looked at those and we took some of the ideas that we had and what we could do is be able to print these relatively quickly, relatively easily, and somebody at home that might be quarantined or whatever could actually print one of these on their home printer. And so what we did is we came up with two iterations, and this iteration is really small and light and real easy to print. And the concept that we took on this is taking a piece of 8.5 by 11 transparency film and using that as a face shield. It's quite readily available, and what we did is the key to our design is we've got a slot in here into the top of this, so all you really need to do is slide this down through, and then what we like to do is maybe extend it out a little bit and fold it over just to contain it, or you could do small cuts, double it up, fold it on itself, or even tape it. What's nice about this is the print build time is relatively small. It's relatively smooth surfaces, so you can take alcohol and wipe these down and disinfect them, and it just uses a rubber band as a retaining device. They work really well. They have a nice standoff distance, so you're not going to fog up. If you're wearing glasses, it works really well. These files to print these are on the link down below. They're free for your use, so have at it. We also developed another one that's a little bit more heavy duty and more robust, and this was designed around kind of face shields. What we did is we took face shields, we had different people try them to kind of get a range of head sizes, because we found some of the things that are out on the open makerspace, they're really narrow and they probably fit up to like the 70th percentile head, but if you start getting a quite larger head, they don't fit as well. And so we kind of worked that into this design, and that was one thing that we made sure that it fit, larger heads and things like that. This one takes longer to print. It's a little more durable, and as you can see, it looks a lot like a face shield. So I guess this is kind of garage related, this video. And what you do is it has the front piece, and then it has some side temples with a clip, so they actually snap right into the maiden receivers like so, and then you put it on your head. These you don't put them on like sunglasses, you put them on like a baseball cap and you slide it down. And what's nice about this is it's a really wide band, and it comes right around, so it's balanced a lot more. It's using your whole head, so you don't really have any point contacts, and it's definitely probably more comfortable in the long run of a rubber band in your back. If you're trying to print stuff really quick and get a lot out to people, this is probably the one that you want to work on. If you want one for around the house, you might want to do this. And some other alternatives to the 8.5 by 11 transparency sheet could be, this is acetate, and if you could do searches for acetate sheets, they're used everywhere's from graphic artists to, if you go and buy a real fancy cake at a bakery, they wrap it around the sides to protect everything that's decorated on the top from getting mushed and destroyed. So, you know, there's some other alternatives to the transparency sheets. And I'm sure that you guys can get creative and find some other ways. We actually, this one here is a 2-liter soda bottle. What you do is you cut the soda bottle kind of around this point and kind of up here. And if you look, somewheres in the soda bottle, there's a seam that comes down. So you're going to want that seam over to the sides of your visor, so that way you're not looking directly right into that seam. This is 10 mil thick. The overhead transparency sheets are usually about 4 to 5 thousandths thick, and it does have like a natural curvature in itself. You know, it's a round soda bottle. But you know, if you can't get overhead transparency sheets, you can get these, you know, 2-liter soda bottles, the ones that have the labels and they're nice and clear here, and you can cut that and use that. And that's an alternative. And you know, that the headset's the same, and as you can see, it still covers your head. You know, it's going over the glasses. So, you know, that's another thing that you could consider. As far as these are concerned, these are number 32 rubber bands. They're 3 inches by 1/8 of an inch, and you just tie those together. You can also use a 117B rubber band, which is 1/8 inch wide by 7 inches long, instead of that one. The smaller rubber bands seem to be a little bit less stretchy, so I think it fits your head better. This one's a little bit more firmer, but anyways, there's some options to try. And as far as how you do these, it's pretty easy for either one. Here's one of the headsets here, and all you end up doing is taking an overhead transparency. The long way goes this way, and the short way goes here. And all you do is you just start threading it in, like so. And what was nice, we liked about this is, as you can see, it slides right through. We saw some that had features where that kind of grabbed the transparency, and it was extremely difficult to thread. And part of the issue is if you've got gloves on or whatever, if you're a medical provider, it'd be kind of hard to do that, and you actually have a tendency to damage the film while you're threading it in, and you start kinking it and stuff, and then you're just going to lose visibility. So there, as you can see, it's through. Sometimes if you just put it onto the bench and it goes that way, it's easier. So now that it's through, and what I like to do is just kind of take your finger and roll it over, and what that does is that just basically increases it from pulling through. Now it's pretty secure and fixed pretty well. You know, it's pretty rugged. And then you just fasten your rubber band into the two eyelets. On this other design shield, you really don't need a rubber band or whatever, but if you want, you could put one here just to kind of keep these together. These are called the long temples, and these seem to work best for probably 80% of the people. And then I have another temple that's called small, and those files are all down below too. The thing is, this one works for everybody, but it works best for 80%. This works better for like 20% of the people, but it doesn't work for everybody. So, you know, you have options to try. And the question probably is why, you know, why face shields? Why are face shields so important? If you start looking at, you know, where the virus can come in, they call it the T region of your face. You know, your eyes, and then your nose and mouth in the forms of T, you know. And you start seeing people, individuals, you know, going around with face masks or whatever. And, you know, that's good. But if you've got a face mask and you've got germs, you're only protecting basically 50% of your points of entry where the virus can come in. You're not protecting your eyes. And if you use a you know, a face mask, and if you try to use safety goggles or whatever, anybody that, you know, I wear glasses, you wear a mask, you wear goggles, when you exhale, there's a lot of moisture that comes out of it, and you end up fogging your glasses or whatever. So if you have something like this and a face mask on, you do this, you know, you're protected, your face is protected. That's kind of the logic and the reason of why face shields are so important, to help combat, you know, and protect yourself from, you know, getting the virus or whatever. You know, these, you know, we're hoping that we're getting this out to people. So, you know, they're like, people are asking, what can we do? You know, if you have a printer, you can print one of these. You know, you can give one to somebody that could be compromised have a compromised immune system. You know, it'll help them. It'll give them some protection. You know, another thing, when you're wearing a face shield, they always tell you not to touch your nose or your mouth. If you have a face shield on, you know, you really can't do that. It makes it tough, you know, drinking a beverage or something, but I think you guys can figure that one out. But, you know, we're thinking it's like, if everybody knows somebody that could use one, and if people are around printing, you know, a couple hours of time, maybe a couple hours of materials, you could make a difference. So, now another thing too is there's a lot of people that are posting like, we need, you know, personal protection. I've got a link to one in the Boston-based region of an effort to get PPE to people that need it. And I'm sure that in your local communities or whatever, there's things like that also. If you could post those onto the comments or whatever, you know, people can start searching for their regions for that information. So, you know, on this video, you'll have the print, you know, the print files, so you can print all of these pieces. You know, you can get some acetate, transparency film, or maybe some bottles, and you know, make some of these and hand them out and help other people in need. Thanks for watching, and if you feel that there's value here, or if you want to just kind of keep in touch with the comments or whatever, please subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.